Do I look like Cindy Lou Who? Just a little bit. Hey guys, so I'm going to be doing a February TBR today, and I haven't done a TBR in a very long time, mostly because I do not stick to my TBRs, but for the month of February, there are a few books that I definitely want to read, so this isn't necessarily in stone the books that I'm going to read, but these are books that I really want to get to. The first book I will 100% definitely be reading in February is The Raven King by Maggie Stiefvater, because this is the fourth and final book in the Raven Boys series, which I pretty much marathoned the first 3 books over the last 2 weeks. I've been really loving them, really enjoying them, so I will 100% be reading The Raven King. There are some books from the library that I want to read. One of them is 2x2 by Nicholas Sparks. I've heard mixed things about this one, but I still want to read it. I've heard it's just like an okay, a nice, fluffy read, so I feel like after reading maybe some more intense books, like I'm sure The Raven King will be, it'll be nice to balance it out with something that's a little more lighthearted. Next, I talked about this in my end of the year book haul, but I want to get to Armada by Ernest Cline. It's kind of in that same sci-fi realm of story. It's about a kid, I guess, and it's almost like a video game comes to life. There's these alien invaders, and somehow he becomes a part of something with them. I don't know, stopping them or fighting against them, or who knows what. It sounds very entertaining, so I do want to read this. I also want to read The Glass Spare because I said I want to read it during the winter because it's a fantasy story about a princess and how she has this power where she turns people or things into gems, which sounds really cool. And it seems like a pretty short, quick read, so I really want to get to this because I feel like if I put this on my shelf, I will just have it on my shelf and I will never read it. So I want to read it in February so that I actually get to reading it, because otherwise it's gonna sit on my shelf forever. One of the books that I am really anticipating, more so than any of the others even, is the Gallop and the Genie. And what did it for me really is just the descriptions of this book. I mean, even on the back they have all of the reviews and it's just described so well. And I want to read to the last line of the synopsis, which just sounds like the perfect book. It says, marvelous and compulsively readable, it weaves strands of folk mythology, historical fiction, and magical fable into a wondrously inventive and unforgettable tale. How does that not sound so good? And all of the reviews on the back talk about how it's such a great storytelling quality and it's just so rich, and that sounds amazing to me. So I really want to get to this in February, so fingers crossed I actually do. The final book that I want to get to in February is The Last Mrs Parish, and this book I've seen around because I think it was one of the Book of the Month books, which I'm not a part of, but I see people posting about it and it looked really cool. It's more of a psychological thriller about this woman who kind of inserts herself into this perfect couple's life because she wants to live their life and she wants to be like them. I don't really know what happens or what goes down, but that's kind of the gist I got from it. The final book that I want to read in February, I actually don't know what that book is yet. So in my 2018 goals video, I talked about how I want to find more books that I haven't really heard of before just by browsing through a bookstore. So I definitely want to do that in the month of February because I didn't do it in January, and I really want to try to do it once every month or every other month. So I think in February I will pick an unknown book, a book that I've never heard of before that just sounds good based on what I read from the cover. So we'll see how that goes. That will be a very ambitious TBR. If I do read all of those books, that is a total of 7 books, which is kind of doable, I guess. If you have any books that you're planning on reading in the month of February, or if you've read any of these books that I've talked about here, please let me know because I'd love to know which ones I should be reading first. Thanks for watching and happy reading.